So tonight's topic, why he needs you but chooses her, is was selected by a subscriber, and I think it's necessary to discuss, because what happened is that too often we see situations where women are sidelined and not understanding what happened by men who they truly loved. Now, the problem is simply that the relationship world and life and stuff has gotten so complex in dating, where it's a game. And it became a game after men came from war, and the tables turned for generations. Men have felt displaced. And I want to start off by having some very deep conversations to lay the foundation to what we're going to discuss tonight, because when we have these conversations on the surface, it really has no value, because this society and this world has caused men and women, especially men, to stray away from what purpose is. Both men and women have, or is supposed to have, a purpose. And so the foundation of what I'm discussing tonight, because this video is for women, even though it may seem as though it's against women, if women listen, take heed and understand, they're going to understand a lot. It's a shame that in having conversations about women with women, that when I ask women some questions about womanhood, they are not able to answer. And just growing up as a woman and becoming an adult over 18 or 21 does not mean you are a woman or you know about being a woman. Having a monthly cycle and going through that experience does not mean you understand why you're going through the experience and what is affecting you during the experience, because you would agree that most times, in most months, it's a little different at times. And people just think, well, it was heavy this time, or it was short this time, or it was more painful this time. These are things that affect women because of hormones. Now, women and men are not the same, and we are not equal. And until we decide to go into a relationship understanding what we want, but before we understand what we want, who we are, relationships are always going to hurt us. And I'm able to say this because I've been sitting on both sides of the fence and it's smack in the middle now, so I know what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to start to do soon is do these videos with people, both male and female, the live videos, to bring balance and hear the perspective of others. So if anybody listening wants to do a live with me on a topic that they want to get information on, we can do it and have a live discussion when we're doing these on a Friday night. But the point I'm making is we must understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And if anybody don't believe that we are spiritual having a human experience, then what I'm saying here, you should just log off. I'm not talking to you. This is not for you. I'm not talking to you. Because when you listen to women speak, you hear women say all the time. I know some women who have actually felt or knew that their husbands were cheating, and their intuition allowed them to go straight to where that person was actually cheating, found them, and was embarrassed and hurt. Because what happens when you meet that person that you thought that you really loved and you knew, and you realize that this person hurt you, it hurts because you feel now that you don't know this person. Like, who is this person I'm with? And what happens? Hormones start to act inside. Now, my position on that is that a lot of women leave relationships because of cheating and stuff like that without understanding where they fell short or the person fell short, and they end up spending the rest of their lives alone. And there's a lot of discussion we need to have on that. That's another topic. However, what I'm talking about here tonight is why a man sees you, wants you, and then chooses someone else. And where do you fit in all of that? Now, we've heard, as I mentioned just now, we have heard about a woman's intuition. So the difference between a woman and a man, because a man also has an intuition, and his intuition is much more powerful than a woman's intuition. Let me explain. Even if you meet a masculine woman, a woman that tends to become more and more in love with a man, wants to get closer to that man. All right? So when he wants to get closer to that man, when she wants to get closer to that man, she wants to have interdependence. She wants to have intimacy. A man at his core, because of testosterone, is not about intimacy. He's about purpose. So in other words, if a man is not where he is supposed to be, that's why men die younger, by the way, than women. If a man is not on his purpose and he doesn't feel he is successful in life, he's going to measure himself against every other man in society, and he's going to place himself in a slot. And if you would rank it from 1 to 10, he would find which slot he would put himself in, and that's where he's going to place himself. And that is going to be how he's going to live and act and feel. So when a woman meets him, what you women do, some of you may know, is that you actually judge a man and evaluate that man based on what he thinks about himself. So that's why when a man comes to you and says he loves you and he wants to spend his life with you and stuff, you are turned off by that, because it doesn't mean anything to you as a woman. Because you need to be engaged, and it depends on how he makes you feel. So if a man is not secure, what you women do for the first 3 months of a relationship is to test a man, to evaluate if what he say he is, he actually is. So you must do that, because the foundation of who you are at the core of a woman is to find the best partner for her future offsprings. Now, that's a woman's side. A man, on the other hand, now, he is about his purpose. So a woman, for example, could not have a very good job, but if for some reason she has an amazing relationship and family and home, she is going to have a wonderful life, even though her job is not the very best. But if a man has a fantastic family and house and wife, but his job is not good and he doesn't feel like he is meeting his purpose, he's going to not be happy at all. That is the difference between men and women. All right, so I hope you all get in it. Every time a woman indicates that she's equal to a man or she's the same as a man, it means that she doesn't understand that she can't be, because her characteristics and her positives or her good functions and what she's really supposed to be there for is different from a man's. So she's a pillar to support a man who is a post that is taking load. She's not supposed to be another post or pillar. She's not going to be happy if she is that, and he is not going to find you attractive if you are that. All right? So that is something I need women to understand. People don't understand the purpose of marriage. Marriage is not, when women, 75% of women ask for divorce in relationships, and when women ask for divorce in relationships, their reason is they are not happy. A marriage is not supposed to make you happy. You are supposed to be happy in a marriage. What does that mean? And it's not semantics. A marriage is not about you or how you feel. A marriage is about you giving to the other person all of yourself. People aren't able to understand, and we are all, and I'm saying we are all selfish beings. So when we get into a marriage, for some reason we feel that we are supposed to be happy, and you're not supposed to be happy in a relationship, but a marriage is supposed to bring you happiness. Most of the amazing, great marriages are successful only after a decade. Because what happens is that marriage goes through phases of you meeting that person, clashing with that person, wanting to change for that person, feeling that you are not yourself and you're losing yourself because of that person, and then understanding that you are not supposed to be about you, but in love, which is not a feeling, by the way. Love is an emotion. Sorry, not an emotion. Love is a commitment or a decision. So you must decide to love someone. Most times people say that they're in love, they aren't. You are only in love when that person loses their job, they're sick, they have nothing that they can give you, and you have made that decision that I'm going to stay with this person regardless, because this is my life here. I am going to build with you through thick or thin. That's why marriage would say, till death do us part, better or for worse. That is the concept of marriage, because marriage foundation is love. We go into relationships because we want to get something out of relationships when we get into them. And it hurts us because we get disappointed, because we go in with expectations instead of deciding to give of ourselves in a marriage. You understand? So when you get into a relationship, now there's a difference between a union and a marriage. And many people are in unions, but not marriages. And that's why 53 to 56% of every marriage now ends in divorce. Now, the other thing is this. Women are much more masculine now than they should be. And because the world are masculizing women and masculating men. So what is happening is women are now becoming men and men are now becoming women. But at the core, when you look at the two and you balance the core and what they are becoming, both parties have become too similar to each other. And when that happens, relationship loses its attraction, because no woman wants a man who cannot challenge her. And no man wants a woman who challenges him. Alright? So when a man feels challenged, his testosterone level goes up and he defends himself. When a woman is not challenged by a man, she is not attracted to him because he is not being the man he's supposed to be. And this is from a sexual standpoint, spiritual standpoint, and a purpose standpoint. That's why when women actually say that money is a problem in relationships and she's voicing that and go and get a job, she doesn't mean, and you women don't really mean go and get a job. What you are actually telling the man is he is not on his purpose. Because if a man is on his purpose and he's striving to be on his purpose, and you're seeing him waking up at 5 a.m., reading for 3 hours, fighting every day to succeed, you will not tell him go and get a job, because you are going to support him, because you now understand this is what he's actually going towards, and you are going to support him. Now, the reason men are choosing other women is because different women from different parts of the world at different times, based on ethnicity and based on age gap, it varies tremendously. Now, when a man and a woman gets in a relationship, the woman is hoping that the man changes, and the man is hoping that she doesn't change. So what happens in a relationship is that most men think that women are trying to change them. And in a relationship, most women feel that a man is not changing. Now, that is where the problem is. Your job is not to change someone, but it's to make them better, evolve them, right? Now, you see sometimes people are together for 5-9 years, and then they go to someone else, and after 6 months, voila, they're with that person, they married after 6 months, and they have children. Now, this goes both ways, and I'm going to do one for men, but we're discussing women tonight. And I want women to get into amazing relationships. That's why we're looking at why he needs you. A man's intuition is much more powerful than a woman's intuition. For example, it's scientific fact in research that women have more sex than men. However, in society, it doesn't give you the impact or the feeling that women have more sex than men. So, that's because men are supposed to be macho and women are supposed to be angelic. That's why some women would have 15, 20 sexual partners but still want to wear a white dress on the wedding day. So, what happens is, let's look at this way. If I'm on a date with a woman and she tells me she had sex with 15 women, it's not a deal breaker for a man. Generally, it's not. Alright? Unless he's spiritual and knows what he wants, which he should know. I would tell a man, don't marry that woman. But for most men in society, it's not a problem. But if she tells that man she have had sex with 40 men, that's a problem for him. Conversely, if a woman is in a relationship with a man and that man says that he had sex with 100 women, she's not going to reject him because he have had sex with 100 women. But if he says, I've had sex with 100 men, it's a turn off for her. Or even 10 men, it's a turn off for her. One man, it's a turn off for her. It is because women understand what penetration is, and so do men. A man can tell that a woman is lying to him, but not know what she's lying about or that she's actually lying about this. It's also a scientific fact that women have more secrets than men do in relationships. So generally, a lot of women, I said it last week and I'll continue to say because it's true, it's a scientific fact, the research numbers show it, women have backups. Now, you're not thinking that it's a backup. You're not saying, I want to replace him with my man with him. You're not saying to yourself, if my man and I end a relationship, I'm going to go with him. You're not saying like that. But subconsciously, there's a polarization and attraction. That when this guy comes along, you engage. Your voice tone, you have 5 tones in pitches in which you speak as a woman. Men have 3. As a woman, you would use your most submissive when that guy comes around. You would get wet. You would feel the attraction, and he can feel it through your eyes. Now, the eyes conversation is a whole other topic, but I'm just going to say this. Every time he engages you, he can feel what you are actually saying. That's a male's intuition. A male's intuition it's so powerful that he can sense if you are actually doing something with a man and he's not there. He can sense if you are thinking about a man and he's not feeling it because of your internal. A woman is about that internal. So her intuition operates with what the man is actually thinking and feeling. A man's intuition is the vibration that is leaving you and coming to you. It's like a barrier. It's like a protection around you. So that's why when men go out to events, he can tell when a guy wants you, likes you, if you like him, if you're flirting without words. He can feel it and tell you that one time because it's like a signal that goes out and he feels the vibration that's coming back to him from all angles and he can feel that and respond. A woman, on the other hand, can feel if you are looking or thinking about a woman that you saw and want to be with. So you see the difference in both how a man's intuition works and a woman's intuition works. One works as a barrier externally and the other works as internally because she's interdependent and he's independent. All right? Now, the reason that we come down to the nitty-gritty that a man doesn't choose you is because most women also don't understand themselves, don't understand the purpose of a woman to a man, and so they try to confront the man or challenge him, and he doesn't want that. What he wants in his life is someone who is going to support him. Men biggest problem is that they don't feel accepted by their partner. A woman's biggest issue is she doesn't feel respected by her partner. So when a man feels accepted, he feels respect. When a woman feels respect, she feels love. So it converts. So when a woman says she wants respect, when she gets respect, when a man listens to her and is saying, hey, I hear you, I like your idea, whatever, she gets closer to him because that makes her feel loved. When a man hears a woman say, listen, I know you're not perfect, but we're going to do this the way you want to do it, and I'm here to support you. He hears respect. A man doesn't care about if you love him or not. A man cares about if you respect him or not. A woman cares about where she stands with you from a love vantage point. That's why you women need to hear, I love you. Men need to feel that I respect you. So that's why submission is so important. Now, this world that we live in has caused submission to be so outdated and out there that you see that as you say to a woman, submit, what happens is they have a problem with that. It's so bad that when a man is proposing to a woman, this is what happens to not alpha males, because I'm going to get to alpha and beta males and the difference between them both. Because a woman always seeks an alpha, but then after a while she decides, I'm going to accept a beta male. I'm going to accept a man who is not really that embodiment of all that I want. All right, but this is what I'm getting, so I'm going to take this. But when a man is proposing, an alpha male and a beta male proposes two different ways. Now, most people may not realize it because there aren't much alpha males. And I'm building a foundation here for you to understand these, because I can't just simply tell you, this is what the situation is. So that is what the situation is. I need for you to understand all the intricacies of both male and females and what actually happens on a daily basis in relationship. So, this man meets a woman and he's proposing. After a while, a beta male goes down on one leg and he says, will you marry me? So what he's doing, he's submitting to that woman by going on that one leg. Because I don't know how many of you would disagree, because I know many of you will want to disagree because you have seen it since you were a little girl, that you want this man to go down on one knee and whatever. But it's actually going to damage him much more in that relationship with you. It doesn't show in the first honeymoon period, but it's eventually going to show. It is. So what happens is, he goes down on one knee and he says, will you marry me? And he submits to you and he's asking you to marry me. Now, when a man marries a woman does not marry a man. When a man goes down on one knee and asks, will you marry me? He's asking the woman to marry him. That is a turn off in the back of a woman's mind, and subconsciously. She can't feel it consciously, but it already starts because she understands that that's not how a man. It's not how Jeff Bezos or Jay-Z or someone, Leonardo DiCaprio or Idris Elba is not going to propose like that. All right? Because these guys know that I have a value. People want me. They're not going to ask you. Alpha male, a man who's on his purpose and whose high value, is going to either stand, he's going to surprise you with something, he's going to put it in something, and what you're going to see is, marry me. He's not asking you to marry him. He's telling you, it's time, marry me. And he's going to look at you, he's going to stand square, and he's going to actually propose to you. That's how an alpha male would do it. So you see the difference between both alpha and beta and how they would actually do something. Now, the reason a man is going to choose another woman is because the energy that she gives is more in line with what he needs, but what he actually wants you, but you are not acting and making him feel and supporting him the way he needs you to support him. So I've heard many women say that a man is a child, a man is, I am not going to raise another child, I'm not going to raise a boy, I am not supposed to be his mother, whatever. And when you hear women say things like that, it means that they do not understand the power and the purpose of a woman. Your job as a woman, because when a man is protecting, he doesn't protect his children and his home and his job alone. He protects the woman as well, and he protects everything in his domain. He's a protector, even a spiritual vantage point. A woman, on the other hand, is a nurturer. Her job is to nurture her husband. That's why it feels to most women who don't understand the power and purpose of a woman that their job is to nurture. Oh, this man is on a journey. You came into his life to support him, and your job is to nurture him through that journey to success, at which point you benefit as much as he does. It's like Michelle Obama, the most ideal scenario. She was an attorney. She had to leave for the future she wanted, decided to tutor Barack Obama and get him to go through the ropes to become president, and in turn she became first lady. But Barack could not have been the man he is today without her, and she couldn't be the woman she is without him. But because she knew her role and understood her role and made that sacrifice, she was able to do everything and more that she was initially going to do, but she did it through the standpoint of being in that relationship and building that man up and supporting him. And the reason most men leave women, especially for a younger woman, is because she is not as masculine as the woman that he's with is. She doesn't challenge him. She submits more to him. And she understands his love language and his needs, because a man is logical, not emotional. So what happens, a woman's emotion changes every day and during the month. So based on the hormone balance, based on which part she is in a monthly cycle, it can waver. She can wake up and feel extremely happy this morning and be annoyed whole night in one day. As a matter of fact, in 5 minutes, she can move from loving you to hating you, and hating you to love you in 5 minutes. That's not a man. When a man says I love you in January the 1st, if he doesn't tell you anything else by December 31st, it means that he still loves you. However, a man, as he goes through different phases, he moves through different levels in his job and his life and success. What he actually requires is that woman to be different. So a man who's an intern in a company that becomes the CEO of that company are two different men, because serotonin in his body is now making him feel more successful. His voice is deeper, his demeanor is more dominant, and he's now thinking differently. And most women are so consumed with how they are actually feeling that what happens is that they don't realize that this man requires a different level of woman and thinking as he's going through his motions in life for success. And she gets so turned into who she is as an individual, and then it just phases out. It fizzes out, and nothing really comes out of the relationship. And both parties decide to go their own way. Or what happens is that the man gets turned off, and he's logical, so he says, listen, I know you're not into this anymore. So he actually either would start to cheat, or he would go and find someone else. Or generally what happens 75% of the time in a relationship is that women are asking for divorce. I've had enough and I'm not happy in this relationship. Because a lot of times what happens is that women are so masculine that they don't embrace their feminine side, or it's almost turned off, that the man is depolarized. He's not attracted to her as he was. She has gained weight, and that's the other thing I wanted to mention. When a woman gains weight, it's different from when a man gains weight. A woman loves a man's physical appearance, but if he gets a punch, as you see most women are loving now, is the dad bod, it's not a turn off for her. But when that jeans doesn't fit you the same way, it's a turn off for a man at a different level. He understands that you will gain weight during a pregnancy, but he also understands that you should lose the weight the same way you put it on. A lot of times women also would go make children, put on 70 pounds when they should only put on 20, and then expects and demands that this man must love me because I made his children, and he's supposed to take me as I am. Guys, listen, nobody is supposed to take you or should take you as you are. You have a responsibility, and that's, I hear women especially say this a lot. If I'm wrong, I would like somebody to tell me. But I actually personally hear women say this a lot, is that I want someone to love me for me. I don't hear much men say that, but women say that. And the point is, a lot of women are actually hurt, damaged, unable to really bring themselves back where they're supposed to be emotionally because of history, and they come into a relationship and they have different guards up. And what you see many times is when there's a fallout in a relationship, a woman asks a man to not sleep in the same bed with me or sleep on the couch or something. And women are not understanding as well that what a man really requires is sex. When you decide not to be intimate with that man because you're in your emotions, you're taking away the very thing that bonds you to that man because you're upset. And then when he decides to find someone else or leave the relationship, you have a problem. You cannot think of a man like a woman, and a man should never think of as a woman like a man does as well. You have to understand this. We disagree on this. So if the relationship problem is not one of cheating, which violates the relationship, I get that. But if he didn't cheat and you argued about almost everything else, then what happens is you should not ask that man to leave that room. If he leaves the room from being in that bed with you, then it speaks something else. It means that he's totally disengaged. All right? But when you decide not to have sex with him, you decide not to be intimate with him, you are actually telling him, go somewhere else. He's logical. You are emotional. He needs sex. He would find it somewhere else, or want to find it somewhere else. And that's the other thing, is that women need to be very careful of how many sexual partners they actually have during their lifetime. And I hear it many times, and I'm listening. All the things I'm discussing here right now is what actually happens in relationship that causes relationships not to last, because there's a spiritual element that is so key. When you're in a relationship with someone, as a woman, it's different when a man has 100 women he slept with and a woman has 20 men that she slept with. Every time a woman is a receiver and a man is a giver. Every time a man discharges, whoever he was with and have been with is cleared from his system. He does not hold things in. A woman is a receiver. If a woman could have a man for 5 years, have a new man after 6 months, have a child with him, and that child will look more like the man she was with for 5 years than the person who is actually the father. You see it in Maury all the time with these women who are swearing that the person is their baby daddy, and then they realize it's not. And women need to be very careful. Every time you are in sex, having sex with a man, you hold part of that person for a lifetime. So when I hear women say, I should know too, it matters, it doesn't matter, whatever, they're linking it equally, and it's not supposed to be equally. So my point in saying all of this is that a man chooses another woman because you as a woman are not meeting what he requires as a man. For instance, most women are not on their purpose, and a woman's purpose is not career. I did a video recently indicating that a woman in her 20s should never seek career but seek relationships. All right? Most women don't take care of their bodies physically, and they don't understand the impact that has on a relationship for a man. A man is a logical creature, woman. They don't require much at all. To keep a man, you need to be able to cook, because a man's belly is directly linked to his brain. You've heard the grandparents say it, and it really is true, scientifically proven as well. A man is logical. You need to be able to cook for him, to eat from your hand. That's one. He needs to feel accepted by you and not attacked by you. That's two. And you need to take care of your physical appearance and always bring your A game. And this is not about makeup, because makeup also has contributed significantly to relationships not working out. Because when the relationship gets comfortable and this man is seeing you without that makeup, which is the sexual attraction that caused him to come to you, he starts to realize that you don't have much value outside of wearing that makeup. And when that happens, he becomes depolarized or unattracted to you, and you know the rest is history. So makeup can only help a woman for so long. When a man doesn't see that you are attractive, he doesn't feel that energy from you, sexually, it's a huge issue. All a man really needs is 3 things from a woman. He needs you to be able to feed him. You need to be able to cook for him and feed him, and you would know when he's satisfied with your food. It engages him because he's logical. He uses his left side of his brain, and that subconsciously keeps him with you. He needs to feel he's appreciated by you and accepted by you. And he also needs to feel that you are not challenging him, but you are supporting him. So in other words, that you are submitting to him and allowing him to be the man. He doesn't want you to emasculate him. Anytime you do that, he may not react early or in the early parts, but he's going to come back and he's going to react negatively over time in the relationship. If women can just do those 3 things, there is nothing else that is independent of those 3 things. Everything else that you can possibly think of is built within those 3 things. Being able to cook for him, being able to support and appreciate him for who he is. I'm not saying to accept his flaws, but make a decision after knowing what you want in a man and getting into that relationship with him. Then accept the person if you decide to get into that relationship with him. And never make him feel that you are challenging him, but make him feel that you are supporting him. For example, let me just give a very light example. If you are with a man and he's going to Port of Spain or he's going to a destination, and he did not ask you for your opinion on getting to that destination, do not tell him you don't know where you're going. It's that simple for a man to feel challenged. And it's not him being emotional, because I can give you many examples of a woman acting totally irrational for something even lighter than that. It just is a challenge, whether it be big or small. It's a challenge to a man. In the animal kingdom, if a female gorilla just stands straight up when the male is passing, she's dead. I'm not saying we are animals. What I'm saying is that we have similar traits built in, and no matter how you feel about what I'm saying, no matter what you do, it's not going to change. You have to decide as a woman if you want that man to stay with you and be with you or not. It's really that simple. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying, but I guarantee if you do, you will be a happy woman in a relationship. Because there is this concept of happy wife, happy life. If that is true, have you realized it's not working in relationships? Have you not seen that weddings are now becoming about women and not men, and they are not lasting? It means that it's not true. And a woman can never be happy if her husband is not happy. So I don't know how the happy wife comes in if the husband is not happy. But I'll tell you this, the flip side is, any man that a woman makes sure she takes care of because that's what she's built for and is happy, automatically is going to ensure that his wife is happy as well. Men are built that way. When a man feels appreciated and accepted, a man's only purpose in a relationship is to ensure that his family and his wife feels happy because he is there. If a woman comes and says, babe, I am so fortunate to have you, women don't understand what that just did to a man. And men, there are some people who are married 20 years and have never said that to their husbands. That's how simple it is for a man. So in real and really and truly, a happy husband is a happy home. The woman cannot be happy if the man is not happy. Happy wife, happy life doesn't work. When you hear men say that in a bar, well, I need to make my wife happy, and when a man tries to make a woman happy and give her everything she wants, she is not attracted to that. He becomes a yes man. And women, you guys know you don't like yes men. You like challenges. So it's not true for a man to accept happy wife, happy life. Because that statement drives women to be at the top and to be served. And no woman likes to be served. She likes to be loved. And it's totally different. And if any man decides to send roses to a woman he just met, you'll see, if a man sends roses to a woman he met 2 days ago or a week ago, she is not turned on by that. But if he sends roses to her after 3 months, she's totally engaged. Why? Because she evaluates him in the early part of the relationship logically and then loves him emotionally. A man can love a woman immediately. I heard some people say it takes 2 weeks and whatever. That's nonsense. A man is logical. He's not driven by emotions. He can see this woman and immediately think about marrying her and building a home and what the children would look like. A woman does not operate like that. She needs to evaluate you and see if you are that man, and the female assassin wants to kill that man, and anything he does, she's going to cancel him out. She just wants to find one thing, and she looks at everything he does, his smile, his clothes, his breath, his eyes, his ears, everything. This man sees a high cheekbone, red lipstick, nice legs, and he can fall in love immediately. Now, what happens over time, and this is where women are hurt, this is why men don't choose them, is when that man over 2-3 months acts a particular way, she falls in love and gets engaged to him, and she no longer thinks logically. Her emotion takes over and she can't control it at all. There's nothing she can do. She is in love, in a commitment to that man. A man, on the other hand, starts to think logical after a period of time, which is about the same 3 months, with that woman. So you see how it switches, and you see how both parties start on the opposite spectrum. And when that man realizes that there is no makeup, she wants a spiritual man, but she has never read a single word in the Bible. She wants a man who has a six-pack, but she hates to work out. He can't have a conversation except for having amazing sex. He has you already, so the sex is no longer as turned on as it is, because the other aspects of you no longer polarizes him, so the sex starts to lose its value. No matter how good you look, he leaves. And then what happens is that woman out there that you assume is not as good looking, has 30 pounds more weight than you are, etc., is able to make that man feel that she submits. She's cooking for him, and she is supporting him. So when he's talking about his relationship with you, who is a gorgeous, amazing woman, he's telling her what he's feeling, and she is responding to him in a particular way that he requires from you. He starts to logically say to himself, yes, she's sexy, but I don't need sexy in my life right now. I need support and acceptance in my partner. And he chooses her when he really needed you. Because you, if you were on your purpose as a woman, he sensed that you can be so much, but you represent so little. And he chooses someone else that is not attractive on the external, but understands how to get him in the internal over time. And that is why men choose someone else. that doesn't appear on the surface to match up with you, because your value to him means nothing what you think of yourself. It is what he needed at the time. All right, guys, so I really hope that I broke it down for you guys. I hope that you all got it. I hope that you all understand the concept. There's so much more I can mention in regards to how men and women actually relate to each other. But I really hope that you all were able to understand that it's not the same. It's totally from two different vantage points, coming to the middle ground and moving together. And because of lack of emotional intelligence, we are feeling each other. We are actually feeling each other, because men actually play a bigger role and they're feeling in that as well. And relationships aren't working. All right? So, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. I really look forward to your comments, and let me know what you want to hear next. All right? So, bye for now.